We live in a world that worships speed, fast internet, fast money, fast success. Everyone wants the result right now. But here's the truth most people don't want to hear. The strongest people, the most successful leaders, the people who truly change the world, they all master one rare skill: patience. Because patience is not waiting. Patience is discipline under pressure. It's the ability to stay focused when progress is slow, to keep building when no one is watching, to trust the process when the results are invisible. Most people quit right before the breakthrough. They walk away in the moment when life is testing them, asking one question: do you want it? Or were you just excited in the beginning? Patience is what separates those who dream from those who become. A seed does not become a forest overnight. Pressure does not become diamonds in a day. Greatness is not built in a moment. It is built in quiet, patient persistence. So today, this is not just a speech about waiting. This is a speech about endurance, about trusting the unseen work, about having the courage to stay in the fight long enough for life to finally say, you proved you're ready. Because the truth is simple. If you learn patience, you learn power. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they quit in the quiet moment when progress becomes invisible. That moment arrives after the excitement fades, after the applause disappears, and after the effort starts to feel heavier than the reward. For many men, this moment attacks their identity. Men are raised to believe they must produce results, prove their strength, and show visible progress. When the world doesn't immediately reward their effort, frustration grows, doubt creeps in, and patience begins to feel like weakness instead of discipline. Pressure builds differently in the mind of a man who feels responsible for building something meaningful. He wants to move, fix, solve, and conquer the obstacle quickly. Waiting feels unnatural because action feels like control. But real progress often happens in silence, beneath the surface where no one can see it. The work is happening, the foundation is forming, yet the lack of visible results makes the mind question everything that once felt certain. From a woman's perspective, patience is often recognized as emotional strength rather than delay. Women tend to observe the long game of growth, relationships, and consistency. They watch how a man behaves when things move slowly. The ability to stay steady under pressure signals maturity, stability, and leadership, while impatience reveals insecurity and internal conflict. The real challenge appears when the distance between effort and reward grows longer than expected. This is the exact space where most men walk away, not realizing they are standing closer to the breakthrough than ever before. Patience is often misunderstood as passive waiting, but in reality, it is controlled strength under pressure. A man who practices patience is not standing still. He is holding his ground while the world tries to rush him. Men are naturally wired to move, to solve problems quickly, to push forward with force and action. When progress slows down, the instinct is to push harder or abandon the effort entirely. But patience demands something more difficult than action. It demands restraint, discipline, and the ability to stay composed when results refuse to appear. Strength in a man is often measured by how loudly he reacts to challenges, but true strength is revealed in how calmly he responds when things take time. The man who can stay focused while others panic is the man who understands that growth rarely happens on a predictable schedule. Pressure tests a man's identity, and impatience is often the emotional reaction to feeling out of control. Controlled strength means resisting that reaction and continuing to build, even when progress feels invisible. From a woman's perspective, patience in a man signals stability and emotional maturity. It shows that his decisions are not ruled by frustration or ego. A man who can manage his impulses, maintain direction, and stay consistent despite slow progress communicates reliability and quiet confidence, qualities that reflect leadership rather than urgency. The most extraordinary results in life are built during the quiet seasons when no one is watching. This is the phase where effort feels invisible and recognition is nowhere to be found. For many men, this silence becomes uncomfortable because men are conditioned to measure progress through visible achievement. They want to see the scoreboard move. They want proof that their work is producing something real. When the results remain hidden, the mind begins to question the value of the effort, and patience starts to feel like wasted time rather than necessary preparation. Growth, however, rarely announces itself while it is happening. The strongest foundations are built beneath the surface, where the work cannot be celebrated or even noticed. This kind of progress demands a deeper level of discipline from a man because it requires him to keep showing up without applause. The challenge is not the work itself. The challenge is continuing the work when the world offers no immediate validation. Many men walk away during this stage because silence feels like failure. From a woman's perspective, this quiet persistence often reveals more about a man than visible success ever could. The ability to remain committed in the absence of recognition signals purpose and internal drive. Consistent effort with thought attention reflects a level of patience and emotional strength that suggests the man is building something lasting rather than chasing quick approval. Fast success can feel powerful in the moment, but it often builds confidence without building character. When results arrive quickly, a man experiences the reward without enduring the process that normally prepares him to handle pressure, setbacks, and responsibility. The mind begins to associate achievement with speed, and patience starts to feel unnecessary. But when challenges eventually appear, the foundation beneath that success is often weaker than it seemed. Struggle, delay, and slow progress force a man to develop resilience. They train his mind to handle uncertainty, criticism, and long periods without recognition. Without those experiences, success can become fragile because it has never been tested by real resistance. A man who rises too quickly may appear strong on the outside, but internally he has not yet learned how to endure the moments when progress stops or when failure becomes unavoidable. From a woman's perspective, rapid success is often less impressive than consistent growth over time. Speed can look exciting, but stability signals depth. When a man learns patience through challenge, he develops emotional control, discipline, and perspective. Those qualities show that his confidence is built on experience rather than temporary momentum, and that his strength is capable of surviving pressure rather than depending on constant success. The true test of patience appears the moment the crowd begins to disappear. At the beginning of any journey, excitement attracts many people. Motivation is high, energy is strong, and everyone believes success will come quickly. But when progress slows and obstacles begin to appear, enthusiasm fades. The applause stops. The encouragement becomes quieter. And many people quietly walk away. This is the point where patience stops being an idea and becomes a discipline. Men often experience this moment as a challenge to their identity. A man wants to see movement, progress, and evidence that his effort is producing results. When others leave, doubt starts to grow because the mind naturally questions whether continuing alone is a mistake. The pressure is not only external, it is deeply internal. The discipline of patience requires a man to keep showing up even when the environment no longer provides reassurance. Staying in the fight when motivation disappears forces a man to rely on something deeper than excitement. Consistency during difficult seasons begins to shape a different kind of strength. A man who remains committed while others abandon the path develops emotional control, focus, and endurance. The act of staying is not passive. It is a daily decision to continue building when the outcome is still uncertain. Over time, this quiet persistence forms the mental resilience that fast results could never create. From a woman's perspective, the man who stays when others leave communicates reliability and depth of character. Patience expressed through consistent action signals stability and leadership. It shows that his commitment is not controlled by temporary emotions or the presence of a crowd, but by a clear sense of purpose and responsibility. The turning point in every difficult journey arrives when pressure stops feeling like a threat and starts becoming a source of strength. At the beginning, pressure often creates anxiety, doubt, and the feeling that something is going wrong. For many men, this pressure challenges their sense of control. Men are raised to believe they must solve problems quickly, protect what they build, and move forward with certainty. When progress slows and pressure increases, the mind interprets it as failure rather than preparation. Patience begins to change that interpretation. Instead of reacting to pressure with frustration, a patient mind learns to observe it, endure it, and use it as information. Pressure becomes a signal that growth is taking place just beyond the comfort zone. A man who learns to stay steady in these moments starts developing a deeper form of confidence. It is no longer the loud confidence that comes from early wins, but the quiet confidence that comes from surviving difficulty without losing direction. As patience grows, pressure begins to reshape the way a man thinks and behaves. Challenges stop feeling like interruptions and start becoming part of the process. The man who once reacted quickly now responds with greater clarity. The man who once rushed decisions now pauses with intention. This shift transforms pressure into a training ground where discipline, emotional control, and long-term thinking are strengthened with every obstacle faced. From a woman's perspective, this transformation often becomes visible through a man's composure. A patient man under pressure communicates stability. Instead of reacting impulsively, he demonstrates the ability to stay grounded when circumstances become uncertain. This signals a level of maturity and inner strength that goes beyond ambition or talent, revealing a character that has been shaped by patience rather than urgency.